So in this video, I want to explain why, for the vast majority of you trainers out there that train hard, 3 times a week training is perfectly adequate for you. And if you do 5 times a week, I'm going to explain why, but 5 times a week is detrimental. And this is a massive thing. If you get the balance right in your training, you can stay injury-free and you can get the right balance of improvement while staying injury-free. So my name's Andy Kidd, I'm a sports massage therapist, a muscle activation specialist as well, based in Taunton, and I help individuals get over injury so they can get back to what they love to do, namely athletes, sports people, avid sports people, and gym goers. Now, and for a lot of people, especially with gym goers, there's an addiction there. There's a fitness addiction that they have to go every day. They have to train hard. And if they don't train hard, they feel uncomfortable. They're almost, that fitness addict is normally different from anybody else. They feel uncomfortable by not doing anything. And because of that, they will overtrain. And they'll think that they can do that maybe 5-6 times a week continuously. And often these fitness addicts will think that's the only way to get really fit, if they only train at that 5 or 6 times a week. If they don't, then they're being lazy, they feel their progress is going to stall. And now this is not the way to think about it, and it's just not true. And it really will, if you think that way, then you're taking the fast track to injury. And because you're simply not getting the recovery. And I know that some of these, most people out there who train 5-6 times a week are not getting the recovery because they've got lives to live. They've got work to go to. They've got kids to look after. They've got family to look after. They've got family commitments. And this takes a lot of stress out of the body. And it takes a lot of energy out of the body. And plus they're training 5-6 times a week. It's too much. It's far too much. And that fitness addiction that you have is what's contributing to a lot of the injuries. Now, I'm going to take a different viewpoint for this. And this is going to be uncomfortable for fitness addicts out there to actually consider. But 3 times a week is probably ample for you to keep training. And that's the main idea. You don't want yo-yo training where you're getting fitter, and then you get an injury, and then it comes stalling to a progress where you have to go through a period of rehab, then you get fitter, and then you're hit by an injury again. And then that's the yo-yo fitness thing. It's almost like yo-yo darting, but you know, it's more extreme. But it's literally that kind of yo-yo fitness that plagues people, specifically rocks enthusiasts, crossfitters, people who train a lot in the gym. That kind of ebb and flow is what is the norm. And the reason is because they don't understand recovery and they train far too much for considering the amount of the other commitments in their life. Now, if you think about other professional athletes out there, they've got the whole life is dedicated towards that. Everything in their life is handled so they can actually streamline their body and they can focus on their body so they can train 7 hours a day. They can do this because, again, they've got everything sorted for them, probably meals sorted for them. They've got nannies to look after the kids. They've got everything is streamlined so they can actually get on with their training. We're different. We've got too many commitments, and that's when we actually overtrain. We are burning the candle on both ends. We're actually stressing ourselves completely with work and kids, and then you train 5-6 times a week, too much, and you feel, for the fitness addict, they will train hard throughout those days as well. It's too much. 3 times a week is probably ample for vast majority of people out there who've got other commitments. And it's maybe uncomfortable for you to think of this, especially if you're a guy who goes to the gym 5-6 times a week. Can I do this? I find that uncomfortable. I cannot not train. And that's something that you have to sort out within yourself. If you want to stay injury-free, you have to do the right balance of training considering your life. And 3 times a week training is enough. 3 times a week training is enough. Consider this. Are you really unfit if you go to the gym 3 times a week and you work hard in those 3 times a week? Are you really going to be unfit? Are you really not going to progress? Of course you'll progress. That's ample enough for you to actually progress. And it's the right amount of recovery you've got in between those sessions as well, where you can actually maybe lightly stretch or do some movements, light jogging or something like that. It doesn't mean you have to just sit on your bum for those recovery days, but you pull back the training a lot, and you just do movements or something like that, or stretching or something, just to actually keep the body ticking over. But that 3 times a week is ample for everybody. And you might think, well, Andy, I've got to fit everything into my training schedule. I've got to fit core in, I've got to fit cardio in. Then you're thinking about training all wrong. That's not the point of training. The point of each phase of training is not to fit everything in all at the same time. You can't do that. Some exercises will have to go by the wayside. If you're focusing, you may have to, for each week or phase, you may have to focus on deadlift and squat, and then you can probably go on to front squat the next phase, but you can't do deadlift, front squat, squat, all those exercises all together in the week and expect to stay injury free. You have to focus your training on certain aspects as you go through, and you have to focus on certain exercises that are going to actually get you your goal, whether that's getting fitter, whether that's getting stronger. You know, you've got to focus on a limited amount of exercises per week. And then the next phase, you can take another exercise. But you can't do everything all at the same time. And that's what I feel that a lot of fitness addicts feel. I have to fit in everything into it. And that's why I have to train 5-6 times a week. That's not the proper way to think about it. You have to understand that the body gets fitter, through recovery when you're not doing much. That's when the body's going to get fitter. And that's when the recovery is going to happen. And that's when you're going to actually stay away from injury. And you're going to have the right balance. The problem is for a lot of people, and sedentary lifestyle is a big contributor towards injury. But so is lack of recovery and constant training. And you have to find the right balance. You have to find the right balance. And you've got to get out of your mind that you have to train every day, and you've got to handle that discomfort of not training. You've got to get that right balance so you can actually continue to train, continue to get rise. And once you have continuous training over months and maybe a year and years, then you're making progress. That's when you're making progress. And that's what you've got to bring to your training. It's a different mindset from everybody else that need to move more. Fitness addicts out there, you've got to do less and be comfortable with the training you're doing. Just remember, if you're working hard in a training session, have you really that much lack of faith in that training, lack of trust in that training that you have to go and kill yourself the next day? You've got to look at your mindset at that idea that tough training session you've got to do, that needs recovery. The body needs to recover from it. And once you get that right balance right and you get the body recovering from each training session, then you'll see real progress. So hopefully that video gives you a better understanding of finding the right balance of volume and frequency in your training so you can stay injury-free. 3 times for the vast majority of people is far better than 5 times and 6 times for the vast majority of people. Anyway, thanks for watching. See you in the next video.